Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Agatha All Along, Episode 6. Now, Episode 5 ended on a fucking doozy. It ended on this massive thing. Episode 5 was kind of nuts, dude. I mean, like I said, some people had opinions about that, but I didn't get it, because that shit was kind of nuts. Like, it was just so much happened. A death. The whole Nicholas Scratch thing, and the ending with the reveal that yes, indeed, the teen is Billy Kaplan, aka Billy Maximoff, aka Wiccan. He is that character that we all thought he was, and he indeed is that character. Now, we didn't think this introduction would come. Funny enough, so Penguin and this show both had flashback episodes. It's so insane, the parallels between episode 4 of Penguin and episode 6 of Agatha, that like they literally were the same format. Like, it's a flashback, and in the end it puts us in a place where we thought we would be a couple episodes from now. Everyone thought, and including me, that they're not going to say this whole is he Billy Kaplan? Is he Wiccan? This whole is this kid teen Wiccan thing until at least till episode 7. At the earliest, episode 7. At the latest, the final episode of the show. Hell, some people thought, and it's open, that they're gonna save that shit to the second to last, episode 8, to the second to last episode of the show. But no, they did that shit now. Had a whole flashback episode, and now we have 3 episodes of information that we thought was going to be the big twist. We still don't know what the big now we know more after this episode, but we thought the big twist was gonna be the Billy Kaplan thing, which just leads to even more speculation of what the fuck is this twist gonna be at the end of this road. Anyways, so I don't want to get into the insanity that is the comic book version of Billy and his brother, Billy and Tommy, the Maximoff twins, Wanda's children's, their origin stories, because it's just batshit, dude. Their origin story is just completely batshit. It is completely nuts. It is, I mean, there are like 2 different versions of it. There's one version where Wanda just manifested them out of pure magic and they disappeared. There's another version where they're like shards of Mephisto's souls, and there's this horrifying but well-remembered image of like the twins being like Mephisto's hands and him puppeting them, which was creepy as shit. That is a hell of an image. That's a night terror type shit right there. Imagine being a fucking kid in like the 90s and you read that shit. You'd be like, oh, what the fuck is that? Anyways, the original origin story of Wiccan and Speed are just weird. So I'm glad that they decided the MCU decided to do a little more streamlined approach. In the comics, Wiccan and Speed are like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like their souls are like put into unborn children before they're born. So like they're born to that family. Whereas in this one, as some of us kind of theorized, Wiccan, Wanda's child, when the bubble was coming down, did escape into this kid Billy Kaplan's body, and he's been in the body, and they actually had hints to that in the earlier episodes. Obviously, I think episode 3, when the teen told Alice that strange things happened to him, like his life kind of changed. Things happened to him when he was 13 too, and he's 16 now. 3 years ago was the WandaVision show and the event. It kind of lined up to make sense of what was going on here. But regardless, we all kind of assumed or predicted that it was going to be something. We didn't know how it was going to be that thing, because we were like, okay, how are they going to go about this? So how the flashback begins is we see young Billy Kaplan, like OG Billy, no Wiccan, no nothing. This is just Billy Kaplan. And he's, I think it's his bar bar mitzvah. I always say that word wrong. His birthday / bar mitzvah. So he's Jewish, so he's celebrating his heritage and having this like party and whatnot, and just enjoying life as a teen. He's becoming a teen, but we discover that it's an interesting like weave of destiny thing around this kid, because he has an interaction or knows about almost all the witches that would eventually go on this road with him, including having his palm read by Lilia years before they would walk the road together. And if that sounds confusing to you, well, if Lilia met this kid beforehand, why did she talk to him like she didn't remember who he was? Well, as it turns out, while she was reading his palm, she had a definition about something. Now, we don't know exactly what Lilia divined and what she saw that made her have to write a rune of like, what was it called? It's like this rune to disguise him, but she wrote it. She wrote the rune. Turns out Lilia's the one who wrote that. It wasn't a Scarlet Witch thing. It wasn't some spell Scarlet Witch put on him. No. Lilia did that because whatever she saw in his future was so important that she felt like, I need to protect him from all witch folk until he is ready to defend himself, or at least handle it himself. But as Agatha said a couple weeks ago, the witch who cast that spell, the witch who does that spell, they also forget forget that they made the spell too. They also forget the person they made the spell about too. They forget. It's kind of a lot like the Doctor Strange spell that he did for Peter, which I assume Strange doesn't remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but I think he does. I think the assumption is he did. Well, maybe. I don't know anymore after some of the news I've done heard about Spider-Man 4, but I digress. As it turns out, Lilia was the one who put the spell on him. Lilia was the one who put the ward on him, who put that thing on him so that no witch can ever hear him utter his name. She's the one who did it. And so that answers that question right off the bat. Also, Billy Kaplan dies. Billy Kaplan dies. You see it, his family gets in a car crash, it lands right on his side. The camera and sound effects, you hear a heart beating and you hear a heart stopping. And then you hear Billy Maximoff's voice, and it's like new audio from the end of WandaVision, him saying goodnight, and then you just hear, and he's in the body, and he screams his brother's name, and he's in that body. And it's off to the races, and it's very, in the beginning you couldn't really tell. And honestly, to this point, you still can't really tell. At least I can't. You still can't really tell how much he remembers, because they never mention anything from WandaVision. It's not like he doesn't mention his mom. He doesn't mention his dad. He's only so you don't really know what he's like, how much of that he knows. As far as I can tell, he is a combination. He's not quite Billy Maximoff, but he's also not quite Billy Kaplan. He is like a weird combination of both of them. He is neither and both at the same time. So he's a new character. Like, he is Billy Maximoff, but he's not. It's a weird thing with that character, which, to be fair, it's still less complicated than the actual comic book version. So, whatever. But so we get through this, we meet his boyfriend, we see that he can read minds, we see the stress that is put on his parents. There's some really good sequences of him reading the minds of his parents and just not understanding, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to handle the situation, and just being kind of overwhelmed by everything going on. And so he has to just pretend like he knows these people, because these are good, kind-hearted parents. They are loving parents. So he doesn't want to put them through any heartache. He's like, you know what? I'm going to just pretend to be Billy Kaplan. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. I don't know, I vaguely remember my brother. I vaguely remember things, but I'm going to figure this out. And eventually, through his own personal investigation of his past and through him looking into the Westview incident specifically, he found a contact that gave him more information in the returning Ralph Boner. Oh boy, I know some people were pissed. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways, but he came back. Evan Peters is a great actor, so I'm glad to see him come back in this character. And And Ralph tells him. He tells him about the events that happened. He tells him about how bad things were and how bad things were for him in particular, because he wasn't just in the Hex normal. Agatha was puppeting him herself, personally. So he had it particularly bad. And you gotta feel bad for the guy. Clearly those events really fucked him up. They really traumatized him. He just, it's really bit him out of shape. And we learned that he's the one who killed Sparky the dog because Agatha made him. Like like I said, you see it in his eyes. You see how he reacts, and he's the reason that Billy finds out about Agatha, and Billy starts looking into Agatha. Also finds out that she's still in Westview, stuck in a spell, and the rest is history. He goes there, he finds her, he gets her out of that spell, and like I said, the rest is history. And Agatha somehow did not die when she fell in that mud. From what I could tell, when she fell in the mud, she had grabbed onto a branch while she was falling down. So while it looked like she sunk in, she actually pulled herself out with a branch that she had gotten a hold of while she was sinking in. Hence why Jennifer and Lilia haven't popped up, but Agatha did drag herself out. And they have this interesting, fun interaction where we find out the teen's true motivations, his true goal in walking this road, because it's not power, because he has that in spades when he has his emotions in check. No, the true goal of the teen is to find his brother, is to get the location of his brother. And he figures that the end of the road will give him. Now, granted, I do think it's very deliberate that they say that the Witch's Road will give you what you're missing. AKA, what you're missing may not actually be the thing that you think you want at the end of this road. The road will give you what you're missing. So I do find it obvious to me that maybe the road will tell him where his brother is, maybe not. It does seem like it might be some version of a comic book that came out not that long ago, but we'll see. But this episode was another slam dunk, dude. It was very fun. I love that actor is killing it in this role. The flashback, they just added so much more context to the story. It just added so much more. It added so much, like because there's like holes or like things that we thought were going to be explained that we never thought, that we didn't know if they're going to get to, if they were going to get to, or if they're going to just leave it in the background. But this explains so much about the character. It explains so much about Teen. It also kind of puts him in a different context, because so far in the show, he's kind of been the heart of the show. He's kind of been the kind, gentle person in the show. But when you kind of realize that in reality, he's kind of been playing all these witches. He's been lying to them from the beginning. He knew that what was on him. He knew that he had these powers. And in a way, he's kind of, like I say, he's been playing all of them. So it does change the context. It changes the dynamics going forward. We don't know how this thing's going to end, because we didn't think this reveal was not going to come until near the end. So this episode in particular, it changes the context of everything. So now going forward, I can't wait to see what happens next. This is another 8.5 for me, man. Maybe even a 9 for me, dude, honestly. I loved it. I had a fun blast with it. And I think this character of Billy Kaplan / Billy Maximoff, this actor is killing this role. I think Marvel found someone, another young star, along with the Miss Marvel actress and a couple others. I think they really found a good young star they can really build with. And honestly, that Young Avengers team, it's looking better and better by the day, man. It's looking better and better by the day. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.